Hi, it's Leithia from Farmview Creators. Today we're going to work on this adorable Silly Goose Club mini sign set. These fit in the beaded or shutter frames that are also available. So I'm going to start by getting my pieces on my sticky board, trying to group them by what color I'm planning to paint them, but I always end up changing something around or rethinking. So I wasn't sure what, I knew I wanted to do 2 shades of blue for their bows, and I wasn't sure which ones I wanted to use for each of those shades. That's why I kind of slowed down there for a minute. And then just kind of putting the colors that I want each backboard on top of it so I can remember them, because it is strategic. So this first one I am using 2 coats of Cozy Beige, and the second one 2 coats of Queen's Court. Both of these are acrylic mineral paints from Couture. Third one is another acrylic mineral. It is in the shade Admiral Blue. And then last, Misty Fjord. And it is again an acrylic mineral. These have built-in top coats, just a slight sheen. So if you don't want to add another top coat over them, you don't need to. I usually do just because I like the matte flat finish, but they're just lovely colors. So I am using the same sponge that I used on the backboard with the Admiral Blue on some of the bows and words. And then same thing for Queen's Court, getting some more of those tiny little bows and some words. And that's what I mean by I was being very strategic, because my backboards are in those 2 colors, so I don't want to put anything on top of them that is that same color. For my yellow, I'm using Spanish Sunrise. This is my favorite yellow. It's a very, I don't know, boho, neutrally muted yellow. I'm not really into the bright yellows, so this one is perfect for me. I'm using my ombre nail sponge set from Amazon. I love this because I can switch out the sponge on that little metal tool super easy. I also reuse those sponges, so I'll rinse them and then use a different side. Like you can see that one had blue on it. For my geese, I am using Farmhouse linen. This one is a chalk style paint from Couture. That means it's going to have a matte finish. It's going to be slightly thinner as you're applying it. Really great for distressing. So like if you're going to sand it back or anything like that, this is perfect. It also dries a little faster than the acrylic mineral paints, which I think comes in handy. I like both of these types of paints for different reasons. They both work really well, and I mix and match them frequently. Sometimes I'll even do a base coat of chalk style paint and then use a mineral acrylic on top of it. And I've never had a problem doing that. For their little cheekies, I'm using Vera at the Ballet and a stencil brush and just kind of tapping that down and making a cute little circle just to give them a little something. And for their eyeballs, I'm using an embossing stylus and dipping it in my pitch black paint, and then kind of rolling it around and dabbing it in those areas. And I think they turned out so cute. All right, so I am going to give 2 of those a little sanding because they had little chunks of my sponge because it was a well-loved sponge. And then I decided I wanted to do like different style dots on the backgrounds. So they all have dots in that Farmhouse linen. Messed up on those, so I just wiped them back and started over. The first Misty Fjord board, they're closer together. In the Admiral Blue, they are smaller and farther apart. On the Queen's Court, I did dot trios. And then on the Cozy Beige, I used the end of a paintbrush and made larger, chunkier, juicier dots. On all of them, after I got those dots dry and all the pieces had time to dry because you don't want to smudge all your hard work, I went in with my Debi's DIY dark wax and just gave it a little distressing. Just adds a little more dimension to the piece. And I love these geese. I was not a big fan of geese before I started working on these kits. I mean, I'd seen them around when I was young and everything, but they just weren't my thing. But I think they're my thing now. You can still see those score lines through the paint, so it's very easy to line up where these pieces go. Oh, so cute. And I love how they all have different little sayings. I have a beaded frame that holds 4, but it's hiding from me right now. So I just have my 3 slot shutter frame, which I love my shutter frames. But they don't have 4, so you can show them all off. So I just kind of pick and choose, and I'll switch them out every once in a while. Of course, I'm going to go in with my dead flat top coat, especially on that chalk style farmhouse linen. It needs that protection, and so just kind of working it down in the grooves on all 4 of those backboards. Letting that set and dry. And then there they are. I love them. And there they are in my shutter frame. Too cute. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe.